All right, guys, October is absolutely stacked and packed full of incredible games. And in this video, we're going to be going over some of my most anticipated games for October. But before we get into that, what's good, everyone? OJ here. Welcome back to the video. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, and click that notification bell to get the best Nintendo Switch RPG news, live streams, Nintendo Switch 2 content, and more first, right here on PlayerEssence. Now, let's go ahead and jump right into it. We're starting off in October, Wargroove 2. But remember, guys, I'll have a link for you guys in the description. I'll have a list of all the games coming out, but these are just some of the ones that I'm most excited for across the Switch and PlayStation 5 and maybe even Xbox, depending on what I want to buy. But Wargroove 2, that's coming out on October 5th. Really looking forward to this game. It is a sequel to the original Wargroove game that came out a number of years ago on the platform, and it's great because Wargroove 2 adds more new units, adds more different areas, adds a bunch of new abilities, adds a bunch of different characters, adds a bunch of everything. It looks great, it plays great, it's going to be great. I know it's going to be great because Wargroove 1 is great, so October 5th looking really good. Next up, Detective Pikachu returns October 6th. I'll probably be getting a review code for this one, and it's not necessarily something I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to play this like crazy day one, but at the same time, I did get a chance to play it, and that's the reason why it's on my list here, because I got a chance to play it when I was at the Pokemon Company International headquarters over in Seattle recently. And the game, for Pokemon fans, if you're one of those underground or more like hardcore Pokemon fans that reads all the descriptions on the Pokemon cards and in the video games, and you like all the lore and history and stuff with Pokemon, I think that this game is going to be great because it gives you an inside track on how the Pokemon act, how they feel, how they do certain things. And there's a lot of different cool setups to how Detective Pikachu Returns works. So if you're into games like Danganronpa, or if you're into the detective style of games, even stuff like Ace Attorney, this might be a game for you. And if you like Pokemon, it's a nice little blend of both. Not sure if it's as good as either of those games, but it's a nice little blend of both for the core dedicated fans. Now, next up is Borderlands 3 on October 6th, and I'm just interested in this game because I want to see how it runs and looks on the Nintendo Switch. I played it on the Xbox Series X when it first came out, and I thought it was pretty good, or at least more like when I first bought my Xbox Series X, not when it first came out. And it ran and looked good there, but I was just kind of like, I'm tired of like the looting and shooting type of genre and everything. But for this one, I just want to see how it is because they're already cutting back on the online multiplayer for the Switch version of the game. So they're already cutting back on that. Instead of 4 players online, it's 2 players online, which is super weird. So I want to see what other concessions they made. But overall, Borderlands is still a great game to play. And even if you can play it portably, it's a lot of fun. Borderlands, I played on the Vita and that ran not so good, but it was okay on the Vita for what it was all those years ago. So trying it out on Nintendo Switch OLED, I think it'll probably be good enough based off of what we saw, but you never know with this, guys. It can blow up in my face. Who knows with this one with Borderlands through October 6th. Next up is a game that I'm currently playing and I will have more on later. Of course, if you're watching this in the future, of course, I'll probably have my video already out. Disgaea 7, Vows of the Virtueless. This game is good. I can't talk too much about it. There's some embargo stuff and all that stuff like that. And I'm still playing through, but goodness gracious, this game is awesome. October 3rd, very good game. Very good game. And I'm looking forward to playing and beating it more. I think that what Disgaea 7 does the best out of all the Disgaea games is that the pacing and the flow and just like the ease of use, like those are the things that Disgaea has always been kind of crazy with. Like it was too much numbers, it was too much crazy stuff, and that's still apparent here, but the way that they've actually organized it for everyone to kind of get into and play is much better with this one. And I think that the story is great, the main character is better. I love the main character in the game. The characters, everything is solid in this game and just better than what we've seen before, and we're seeing that in the reviews as well. This has like an 85, 86 average Metacritic, OpenCritic, so I'm very excited to continue my playthrough of Disgaea 7 and bring you guys more content of that. But I'm looking forward to the full release, of course, October 3rd. Next up is Wild Card Football, October 10th, and I'll be completely honest with this one, guys. I am getting it simply because it's not the NFL. Simply because it's not Madden. It's something else. We need a sign. We need something to show that we needed an alternative to Madden. And this is the first time in many years that we've been able to play something else with NFL players, current and former NFL players. And it's like NFL Blitz, but with a twist to it. I mean, there's these different power-up cards that you can get. You can customize your team. You have cross-play. There's a bunch of leagues and seasons. And I don't think this is going to be like, oh my gosh, an incredible game, or as good as the old school Blitz, or maybe even NFL Street. Probably won't be as good as those, but it's a start. It's something, and it's something that shows that, yes, outside of Madden, there can be NFL players and some football, American football, for people to play. And I want the NFL to see this. I don't know what's going to happen, but I really hope that the NFL license with Madden runs out so we can get a actual good NFL football game instead of sitting there and having only one game with no competition, monopoly on NFL football. So yeah, it's because Madden stinks. Madden has stunk for a while now, and I haven't purchased one in a decade plus, and I'm not planning to do it, so I'll buy Wildcard Football instead on October 10th. Next up is Batman Arkham Trilogy, October 13th. I'm looking forward to this. Like Borderlands, I just want to see how it's going to run and everything, especially with Batman Arkham Knight. That's the PS4, Xbox One game, and was crazy. It's got the Batmobile and the big old open world and the incredible graphics. Heck, some people even say, Digital Foundry's even saying out here that Batman Arkham Knight looks better than Gotham Knights. That's PS5 and Xbox Series only, and how they're going to be able to translate that experience over to Nintendo Switch. I'm okay when it comes to Batman Arkham City and Batman Arkham Asylum. Those are PS3 360 games. I think that those will be fine, but we still have to wait and see on it. But these are pretty much the best superhero games, in my opinion, at least. Like Batman Arkham City, Batman Arkham Asylum, but City in particular, I love that game. That's my favorite out of all the Batman Arkham games, is Batman Arkham City. I'm definitely going to boot it up and see how everything looks and plays on the Nintendo Switch. I'm just looking forward to it, especially Batman Arkham Knight, like I said, especially that one. So it should be good. And if you've never played Batman Arkham, oh my gosh, if this turns out to be like a solid port, I would say cop it ASAP. The only problem, the physical edition of the game, not so good. There's barely any on the cart, and it's like a big old fat, like 50 gigabyte plus download, so that's kind of not so good. Bugs Bunny, that's kind of not so good. But outside of that, like everything else is solid with this one, so I'm looking forward to exactly how it's going to work out with Batman Arkham Trilogy, October 13th on the Nintendo Switch. Next up is Sonic Superstars on October 17th. Oh boy, Sonic is back, is looking better than ever. This is what I'm talking about when it comes to Sonic. We got the classic 2D, we've got the new style kind of fused in, we've got Knuckles playable, we've got Tails playable, we've got Amy. I mean, they could have left her out, but whatever. It's good that she's in there for those who like her. Of course, you've got Sonic, you've got a bunch of different powers that you've got a bunch of different types of ways that they're moving the environments and levels. It looks like classic Sonic, but just like awesome and modernized, which is great. You got co-op in there as well. You've got online multiplayer that's probably going to suck. It's probably not going to be very good with like the battle mode or whatever, because it looks terrible, but it's in there for people that want it. People like terrible things in a lot of games. I mean, this is still the reason why people actually buy games like Madden, because they like terrible stuff. To me, it's great, but I do love this too. They actually confirmed, if you're buying the Switch version, smooth 60 frames per second. They got it running at 6 frames per second, which shouldn't be like a problem with the system, with like a 2D platformer, but you would be surprised. I mean, we've seen some stuff on the Nintendo Switch when developers are just kind of like, meh. So I'm happy that they made sure that was going really well with Sonic Superstars, October 17th. And then 3 days later, Marvel's Spider-Man 2. Now, this is a game that I kind of went back and forth on whether I'm going to be picking up or not. And I've played the original Spider-Man, or at least Insomniac Spider-Man. I've played the Miles Morales game, and while I do like it, Spider-Man is a great franchise. I have been playing Spider-Man for like 20 or 30 years of games. I don't even know. It goes all the way back to like the 90s or something like that. I've been playing Spider-Man games, and honestly, I got kind of just burnt out on that superhero Spider-Man. I think after I played Batman back in the day, kind of just like completely changed my view in terms of what I like in like a superhero game, and I think that ruined it for me. However, Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is actually showing off some really cool things with Miles Morales, some really cool things with the open world, and just what they're doing like with the combat and upgrading. So I'm hoping that I don't fall into the, oh my gosh, Spider-Man game for me again. Now, once again, this is a me thing. It definitely has nothing to do with the quality of the Spider-Man games, because those are really good. And if I would have played this without playing 5 million Spider-Man games in the past, I think I wouldn't be having the complaint that I just had right now. But it's because I played too many Spider-Man games before in the past. Like I played like every single one, is what made me just kind of like, okay, I kind of don't want to use Spider-Man anymore when it comes down to it, because the personality, Peter Parker, the story, I mean, like, it's just kind of like, I've been there, done that so many times because it's such a big emphasis with these games. But I do think that this one is going to be really good, and I will check it out. I always check it out. I always play the newer Spider-Man games. I just don't ever really want to finish them. So we'll see. Like, I have to kind of grind to finish through them or just skip a bunch of stuff just to get through them. So we'll see how this one plays out. I think it's going to review really well. I think it's going to be a Game of the Year contender. So we'll see about that. Next up is a game that I'm super excited for. This one's like the most exciting to me on this list, and that is Super Mario Bros. Wonder on October 20th. I've actually already played this game when I went to the Nintendo Live in Seattle. I played it there, got a nice little private demo. I played it 4 players too with my man Paul Gale Network. Make sure you guys check him out. His channel is awesome. Paul Gale, I played it over there where we played 4 players. It was magic, but kind of just like silly and stupid. Where like there's so much craziness that's going on, you're gonna just want to not play with people. It's really after I think you've beaten the game or you just want to mess around that you use the co-op and the multiplayer. But the single player, or like the 2 players in this sense, I think that actually works the best. This works best if you're just playing 2 players, so where there's less interactions and less interference, and to where you can actually use the second player. Like if you miss an area to kind of boost someone up or to get something or to save you, I think 2 players is the sweet key for this multiplayer. But overall, most of us, I think people that are watching this channel are just going to want to play it by yourself. And I think that's where this game shines. We actually have a little bit more information on the game as well. There's been some new previews going up. I think Metro UK talked about it, how this could be the best 2D platformer since like Yoshi's Island back in the day, right? So, I mean, that's pretty crazy since Yoshi's Island on the Super Nintendo, which Yoshi's Island was incredible. I think they forgot about Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, but I think maybe they're talking more about Mario platformers, 2D platformers at least. So yeah, it's been a while. We had a whole decade plus of Super Mario Maker and New Super Mario Bros. So it's been a while since we've had that real exciting 2D Mario game to really look forward to, especially on the Nintendo Switch. That wasn't some type of like do-it-yourself type of game with Mario Maker 2 and everything. So I'm excited. Super Mario Bros. Wonder is going to be lit. The previews look good. The overview trailers look good. I think everything is set. This game is going to be really good. Heck, they're even saying maybe a Game of the Year contender. I don't think it's going to win Game of the Year just because 2D platformer, but I do think that this will be a lot of people's personal Game of the Year, because I think it's going to be that good based off of what I played. Love the new power-ups, love what they're doing. Next up on October 24th, Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 1, which has some extreme jank to it, so we have to put a little bit of an asterisk towards it. I want it just because it's Metal Gear Solid. I'm a big Metal Gear fan. I want to have that cart, even though there's a lot that you have to download outside of it. I know, guys, but I still want to have it. But also the 30 frames when the original PS2 game with Metal Gear Solid 2, that game runs at 60 on the PS2. For some reason, it's 30 on the Nintendo Switch. It is 60 on PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series. Like, it is 60 on there. But the fact that they couldn't make a PS2 game up to 60 shows that there's some bad issues with this. And the original game is 30 frames per second. They couldn't get that running at 60. So there's some issues with this. It is not as an in-depth port as people would have liked, or remaster, whatever the heck you want to call it. It's not as good as people would have liked, which it is what it is there, but at the same time, it's still Metal Gear. It's still iconic. I think it's still going to play well, even with some of the issues. And if you've never played Metal Gear, this is a great collection to pick up because there's so many Metal Gear games on here. I think it's going to work well for those who just want a solid, no pun intended, Metal Gear experience. So, last but definitely not least, is Alan Wake on October 27th, and this is a game that actually wasn't on my radar as much because I played the original Alan Wake back when it first came out. I played it, and I wasn't a huge fan of it. I mean, I played it and beat it all the way through, and I kind of forgot about it. I didn't get the DLC. I didn't care about that. I didn't even care to research the lore and more of the story. I understood what was going on, but I never really cared to just look at it more. But after seeing some of the Alan Wake 2 previews and what's going on with the game, I think that this is a really good evolution and much better than what the original Alan Wake is. And that's a good thing. That's what you want to see when you have the next game in the franchise, especially when it takes them, what, 13 years between the games or something like that? It's been wild, right? So it's been a long time. It's been decade plus. And I think that Alan Wake 2 kind of blends the Resident Evil 2 remake type of style with the combat, what Alan Wake originally does, the new modern technology, obviously playing on PS5 or Xbox Series with the OLED TV, is going to look incredible. The sound design is great. I love what they're doing. The shooting looks solid, and the characters look like they're super believable and in a supernatural type of world. So I'm just excited for the first time ever for an Alan Wake game. So what do you guys think when it comes to the big October games? What are you looking forward to picking up or not? Did I miss anything? Stuff like Assassin's Creed Mirage or other titles are coming out in October. Let me know about all of that in the comment section below. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and we will see you for the next one. Peace out.